You have a comment on the FOI request that you had for about cell phone tracking.
Maybe a comment, not a big concern though. I mean, this is something that we in the police department in Salt Lake City, about 24 times a year maybe, utilize this technology in order to track things down. And it runs anywhere from, we've used it to locate individuals that are suicidal. We've used it in robbery circumstances where victims' phones have been taken. We've actually used it in a homicide investigation in which the victim in that, we pinged her phone in order to locate the suspect because he had both the body and the phone with him. And so it's something that we use, but in every circumstance, we write search warrants for it. I mean, this is something that constitutes a search in the privacy of individuals, and so we routinely write search warrants. Now, in the case of we have a victim of a crime, we may give you permission, and that's certainly an exception to the warrant rule. And also, we've had some circumstances that come up, exigent circumstances, where we've started down the road with this and then followed up with this. I think it makes a good case for the police department as well as for ultimately prosecution that we write search warrants and get the approval of the court before going forward with these things.
So, if Jason Chaffetz's federal law were to pass, federal bill were to pass saying you require a search warrant, or if the ACLU were to get a court order saying you require a search warrant, that would not, so far as you know, change your practice.
No impact whatsoever on it, because again, I personally feel that's the way we should go, and that's the business practice in Salt Lake City.
Could you tell us the name of the homicide victim who you tracked through the...
Of course, you're going to put me on the spot. No, I can't remember. This was the young lady, the suspect was in Branson, Missouri. It happened, what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I apologize.
No, that's fine. Okay. Okay. But it was Branson, Missouri, a year and a half ago. Okay.
Do you, the ACLU, I think, is concerned about these sort of Fourth Amendment issues. And I know, they want to make sure that police agencies are getting warrants, but is there a Fourth Amendment fear there or a balancing act from your standpoint?
No, actually not at all, because interestingly enough, Fourth Amendment issues are the concerns of the police department. We want to ensure, I mean, good police work is not sidestepping the Constitution or finding loopholes in that. Good police work is actually following through and adhering to the Constitution and case law that has been established for very good reason and making sure that we do it right. That makes more solid cases, and it doesn't produce bad case law for the future. So that's important, and so we want to protect that and make sure, and that's, again, why we've kind of adopted the practice that we have.
Yeah. So if the practice is if other agencies are doing what you're doing, then your average citizen shouldn't fear that somebody's monitoring my whereabouts via my cell phone.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless you have a warrant and there's some reason.
Yes, unless we have. I mean, it establishes probable cause. You go before a judge and say, "This is the reason that we want to conduct this search," very much like a search of a residence or a vehicle or anything else that we do. And if the judge says, "Yep, we agree with that probable cause," then you have the right to do so.
If you get permission, you don't need a warrant. So somebody steals my car and my cell phone's in it. You could then trace it through that cell phone without a warrant, because I'd say please do.
That's your property and your privacy that would be protected. It's your phone, and so yeah, absolutely we can do that, and that's something that an individual. I mean, there's many programs now that you can get online. In fact, I know some of the devices that I have. You look online and you can find it when you lose it, and so it's the same technology.
Is there any time where you would do this under seal, asking for a search warrant and hardly anyone knows except for maybe your department and the judge?
Well, search warrants are all that way. Search warrants are not public record until we return to service on the search warrant. So when we write a search warrant for a residence and a Protestant, it's not public information until we file the return on that. And so, absolutely, we have a case where we had a robbery where the suspect was actually stealing cell phones. And so we pinged those cell phones to find out who the possible suspect is and where he might be. And so, no, we wouldn't make that public information until we file the return to service on it.
I guess the way the technology is, this is just something that's more and more. I mean, in some ways, it's a whole brave new world, an area that nobody was dealing with even just a few years ago, and now it's common.
Well, absolutely, it's commonplace. In fact, what you find more often than not, unfortunately, is the general public gets to it faster than the government or the police agencies do. I mean, this technology for locating lost items, for finding your kids and all those different things, I mean, they've been in place. I mean, they've been pushed out to the public really quickly, and so law enforcement has to make sure that we catch up. And, you know, are we doing our due diligence to help prevent crime from occurring in our society?
Thank you, sir.
Oh, my pleasure.
Chief.
Oh, no
Thanks, Chief.
problem.
Thanks for your time.
Oh, you bet.